I'm Pete Wyer. I'm a composer. I work primarily with orchestras and with choirs. But the thing that really excites me is trying new approaches to making music, telling stories with music. And over the last 10 to 12 years, I've specialized in making pieces using immersive sound distributed over a wide area, often through multiple speakers. So my first trip to the Adirondacks was in 2013. I was offered an artist fellowship to the Blue Mountain Center. I knew nothing about the Adirondacks at all, apart from I'd sat in an Adirondack chair. And so I completely fell in love, how could I not? And so I went kayaking and hiking, and I was inspired to write pieces like Utawana after sort of kayaking on Lake Utawana. So I was first put in touch with the Wild Center by Blue Mountain Center in, I think, 2015. And I felt immediately it was a very good partnership. It's a very sort of, I take a kind of a pioneering approach to music making, new forms. I was really inspired by standing literally in the woodland where the iForest is now being created. I stood there and really tried to picture, well, what do we make for this space? You know, what is appropriate? And so I got to thinking about who had been there previously, voices echoing from thousands of years past. You know, it's very interesting. We get into thinking of history as being sort of like 500 years, but it's thousands of years. And so I took an interest in the Mohawks who had been there thousands of years previously. And from that idea, I approached a friend who is Mohawk, and she told me, for instance, about the Mohawk Thanksgiving ceremony. In the Mohawk Thanksgiving ceremony, they thank every part of nature. The Mohawks are animists, and they see themselves as a part of nature, as opposed to the Europeans who are theists, who tend to see themselves as having dominion over nature. So I came up with the title, I Walk Towards Myself, and I really liked that as a title because for me it gave perfect expression to the idea behind it, that, or the hope behind it, that as people would walk around, they would get a deeper sense of connection to nature, and a deeper sense of connection to nature is a deeper sense of connection to yourself because you are a part of nature. So I went back to London and wrote this piece for 3 choirs, and once I'd done that, I returned across the water to Philadelphia to work with The Crossing, who I'd worked with previously. They're a wonderful professional choir. Put 24 microphones in front of them so that we recorded each voice individually. And then we multi-track recorded that, so we ended up with 3 choirs of 24, making a total of 72 voices. And they're singing in Mohawk, which is a language that they had not sung in before, so the translations of Amali Nali became incredibly helpful. Donald Nally is then in front of them conducting. I'm with Paul Vasquez listening on headphones so that I can monitor everything and follow the score and check that we've got everything that we need. I come away with 72 separate tracks of voices in multiple takes as well. So I might have 4 takes of one section, 3 takes of another. And so in London, I then work with my engineer, Jim Unwin, and we then unpick all this and mix it for 24 speakers. It's a unique way of mixing, to be honest. It's not like mixing in a studio where it's kind of, this is the final sound, a little more soprano here, a little less bass there, etc. It's very different from that because it's really about where are you standing and are you getting the full effect. But there's no one version of it. This piece is different for every single person that walks around. It depends what time you walk around, what the weather is doing. It's dependent on many factors. So my hope for the iForest is, firstly, it's not a one-off just for summer and it's gone. It can quite easily be here in 10 years' time, or even 50 years' time, who knows? Because it's completely versatile, and it's not about me, it's something I've created and designed, but actually other composers and sound creators can make pieces for it. It can transform instantly into a piece for children, or a spoken word piece, or a piece with natural sounds. There are so many possibilities for it that I hope it will have a long, ongoing life. The Wild Centre is founded on science, if you like, and I'm an artist, so why put art and science in the same place? In science, we're searching for empirical understanding of the universe. That's its mission. You test things, you prove things, and this is a law, a scientific law. But in art, you're making a creative response to the universe. And that's very different, but you may be asking exactly the same questions. And by asking those questions and making a creative response, that can be a very good way to connect things and to open up eyes and hearts to things. So my hope in creating this piece is that people do have a deeper sense of connection to nature, because that's a deeper sense of connection to themselves and to others. And for example, when we have that empathy, there's no longer us and them, because they are us. And that's important, that matters, that affects the way you make decisions, how you view the world.